Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Weed Cap. Coming to you live with a new segment every Monday where we read letters. We're going to pick one letter and we're just going to post it on the stories of our Instagram. We do get some letters every week, so it's pretty cool. And I'm just going to get right into it. This letter comes to us from Altoona, Pennsylvania. To Lauren and Caleb, hosts of my beloved Weed Cap podcast. I write to you now, sitting in this dull, indifferent McDonald's booth, the weight of my actions pressing down on me. What? In a way, this letter is my confession. In another, it is my final proclamation, my declaration of why I did what I did. It is the culmination of a long, slow unraveling that began with something as simple, yet as profound as canned ham. I've always loved canned ham, the comfort it brought me as a child, the simple joy of opening that can and tasting the rich, salty flesh within. It was something that defined my life. I don't understand what's happening. There was nothing like it. To me, canned ham was the pinnacle of comfort food, a small, humble reminder that even in a chaotic world, some things remain steady. But like all things we love, it was taken away from me in a most cruel and unthinkable way. How do you take canned ham from somebody? My mother, my dear mother, was a woman who also loved canned ham. She adored it just as I did. It was her go-to meal for every meal, and for years it sustained her in ways I can't describe. That's gross. Why can't you describe it? That makes me feel ill. Back to it here. But as with any passion, there are consequences when it's taken too far. My mother ate too much. The salt, the preservatives, they caught up with her. She fell ill, terminally ill with no warning. A slow, cruel decline that left her bedridden and helpless. I'm sorry to hear that. We tried everything. We sought treatment options and surgery, anything to save her. But then came the worst blow. The insurance company that held the policy for her medical care, my mother's lifeline, denied her the one surgery that could have saved her. Denied her because of costs, because of bureaucracy, because some cold, faceless algorithm said so. My mother's health was a number, a statistic, and when her situation became inconvenient, the system simply cast her aside. It was the CEO, the man at the top of it all, who made the decision to refuse her, a decision that would ultimately end her life. I tried to reason with them, I fought, but no amount of pleading, no amount of logic could change their minds. My mother, my sweet, wonderful mother, was denied the chance to live because of the greed and apathy of a man who saw her as nothing more than a financial burden. And I realized something. There are some injustices that cannot be left unchecked. I knew what I had to do. What the fuck? I didn't need to track him down in some lofty office. I found him right there on the streets of Manhattan, walking through a crowd, surrounded by the noise of the city, unaware of the reckoning that was coming for him. The streets, chaotic as they were, felt like a perfect stage for what I had to do. He walked with his usual smug confidence early in the morning, no care in the world, untouched by the lives he had destroyed. It was an irony, the wealth of this man walking through the streets of New York, the city of dreams, where people like my mother couldn't even dream of justice. I moved through the crowd, unseen, unnoticed, and when the moment came, I did what had to be done. I pulled the gun from my jacket, my hand steady, and aimed at his back. Without hesitation, I fired relentlessly. The shots rang out. He crumpled forward, his body hitting the pavement. The city seemed to freeze. People stopped. People screamed. I just stood there. The smoke rising from the barrel. It wasn't anger that fueled me in that moment. It wasn't vengeance. It was justice. He had denied my mother a chance to live, and now he was paying the price. As I rode away from the scene on an e-bike, the world seemed distant, almost muffled. I wasn't concerned with the consequences, not then. What mattered was that I had done what needed to be done. My mother, in the end, would not die at the hands of that man, not like this. Not without a reckoning. And now, as I wait for the inevitable inside this Mickey D's, I do so with a sense of peace. I did what was necessary. My mother may be gone, but at least she did not die at the hands of that man. I know what I did was extreme, but you must understand sometimes the world leaves you no choice. When you've been pushed to the edge, when the system fails you, when there is no justice, you make your own. And with that, I'm going to get a McChicken. Farewell, Luigi. Well, Luigi, that was a lot. Not going to lie, that was a lot. I like McChickens too, and sounds like everything's working out for you. Thank you. Thanks for listening.